student comes in through here, and that's where they're going to be logging in.
So, you working on lab or checking out? Okay, you already checked out? I'm gonna check out right now. All right, so this student is getting ready to leave. So what he's gonna do is he's gonna check out of his class. So this kiosk here, most of the time works. You know, sometimes it's down. For some reason, I don't know if it's a communication problem or what, but sometimes he can't look at his classes, right? So the student goes in there and signs out of his class, right, for the class he signed in. So the backup now that we have is we have an iPad, and we're getting ready to purchase another one, right? Because the kiosk wasn't working, so we have this iPad now, so the student can go in there and actually punch in his ID, and it'll bring up his classes. This, for whatever reason, the touchscreen doesn't work, so you can't type it in. The only thing you can do is slide the card, right? So we were supposed to have one on each building. Well, two here and two over there. But right now, most of the students come to here because they're still manageable, and then from here they move to whatever they got to do. So that's my bullpen right there. That's where my faculty are housed in there, and my office is at the end. We can go take it through later when you want to come in. But the student will come in here. If it's a faculty, somebody's out here, and they need to talk to a faculty, usually knock, and then we'll let them in. Right? They just can't come in. You know, we're trying to keep it as student free, yeah. So basically, the students will come in and then will ask us to do a lab. So this is my commercial lab, right? This is where they do commercial air conditioning. So we have it. So certain classes come here. They do the labs here, right? And the student will come in. We'll do a lab, and then we'll have the students whichever lab they're working. And our faculty usually will be out here monitoring, walking around, asking them or if they have any questions. You know, we'll be answering their questions. If there's a few students that are having issues that don't understand it. So we're trying to make our students write down the question and write down the module. Because we've had a couple of incidents where students like, well, they don't want to help me. And then they come to me and says, okay, what are you having trouble with? Well, this class about this. What class number? Oh. And you know, they just don't know because they don't even look at it. They don't know if they're doing. So I tell them, I said, look, you gotta have attention to detail. So before, one of the things that we miss is when I had a class, right? They will come into my classroom, and let's say it was 1301, basic electricity. They will come in and I say, okay, guys, what's this class? What's the class number? What's the class about? They were looking like, oh, well, this is a basket weaving class. And they'll be like, oh, no, sir, we're here for HVAC. We're here for, you know, like, guys, you gotta know where you're going to. You know, guess what? You just volunteered to go to Iraq or something like, and they'd be like, oh, you know. So I said, you gotta know what you're doing. You gotta look, and so that's the same thing that we're trying to tell them. Like, look, what class? And the student came to me, it's like, well, how do you have? I had a problem with. Okay, what module? What were you having trouble with? Where is the video? And they just browsed through the video. They don't even know what the video was about. They just wanted the answer. They just wanted. So that's the other thing. So we're trying to make them look. Okay, let me know what it is. What do you want to say? In the industry, that's what it is going on right now. Industry now, you get a work order and they send it to your phone. Some companies are doing that. You know, they send you, oh, you got a work order. You go to the company, you look. Okay, I got this. This is wrong with the unit. I see. You're gonna have to type a text or email through the phone, send it back. And so that's what we're using to get over that hurdle of the kids communicating stuff. But this is our commercial lab. Like I said, that didn't look nothing like this at all. So we were blessed with that remodeling this building. And I think this building here in the valley, there's not another building kind of like this, you know, for technical school or for HVAC. So it's a plus for us because it's being helpful in capturing students and capturing a few students. But before, most of our students came to us word of mouth. They already work in HVAC or they know somebody working in HVAC, you know, and that's how they came to us. Now we've been able to capture some students from high school. Some, you know, they come in here and they're like, oh wow, you know, and we've been able to capture them and keep them in the program. But this is what, you know, like I said, it was just rooms here, partitions. Yeah, it didn't look nothing like this. I wish I had before pictures, but I don't, right?
Is that a smart board?
Yeah, that's a smart TV. You know, we use it for lecture. That's what we do. Some of the I know in the other classes we have it's like a whiteboard. You know, where we can draw schematics or show them what we're trying to show them and stuff like that. Our VR system is going to be in this corner right here. I think they're going to install that either tomorrow or something like that. But that's going to be for our troubleshooting class. And this is where it's going to be located, in this corner right here. We're just going to have to make some room. And we're probably going to have some partitions. But that's where the students are going to have that set up right there. This is our testing and balancing lab. This is also done. This is where the students do a 2358, where they do the testing and balancing. This is a small representation of a chiller system. So this building is being cooled by chilled water, right? We have a plant, the building that's in the corner right there. Some of you familiar with a chiller. That's a building right there, and it's got some chillers, right? And right next to it, there's a big round building or round dome right there. That's where we hold water, cold water, chilled water. And that chilled water we distribute it to the whole campus, right? And right in that room we have an air handler, which represents this right here, right? The chilled water will come in, and we will remove the heat from the building, right? Air will come in, you know, all the science or whatever, you know. I'm sorry, I get involved. I get into the teaching of HVAC. But this is how this is the small chill. It represents that, and this is where the students get to balance the air, balance the water coming in. You know, depending on the demand of hot to cold. Of course, it's not a real scenario because we're already in a conditioned space, right? But at least they get to see how it works, where to put the probes in, how to look at the meters, you know, and stuff like that.
So, since we're in TDE, do all campuses have the same pieces of equipment, same activities?
So far, as far as I understand, yes.
Okay.
I've only been to Waco, and I haven't been to the other ones, but I know Waco was the main because they were more into the commercial side, so they already had a chilled water system, so that derived from there, and then we got our own, and all the other campuses have the same. So most of our stuff is the same. It's just a different setup. It looks different. You know, Waco's still different than our setup. I think they're still a little bigger than us, but in space-wise. But yeah, Fort Bend, I think this is kind of a little bit similar to Fort Bend from what I hear, right? But this is just a bigger building because the building was already here. So yeah.
Okay.
So this is what. Yes.
So since you started doing this versus what you were doing before, do you think you're putting out a better quality students? Or the same quality?
Or more prepared?
More prepared, the ones that stick around and the ones that really go through the thing. Because now it's more, so in a way it's a good thing because it's a one-on-one, which this is how you learn better, right, than 20 students. We're not putting as many students as we were doing before. So that's just where the uncertainty for us, like, okay, are we going to get penalized because now we're not graduating as many as we were doing before, right. But we are graduating better students. Yeah, definitely. I mean,
I know that's
because
a big issue on a lot
yeah,
of
because we drill them and they see all 4 instructors. So I can see a student, and sometimes at the beginning I was like the bad guy. Some students kind of, and I didn't want to sound like a bad guy, right? But some students would just try to avoid me because they would be doing something, and I'll go and then I'll be like, "What are you doing?" And they're like, "What are you connecting that for?" And they're like, "Oh, hey, you're not doing it wrong. I'm just saying, want to know what." So they're like, well, "What is this?" "Oh, I forgot it." Like, no, you need to know what it is. And so I kept drilling them, right? So eventually, like, I would go outside, and then students will go to another instructor, like, "What's going on?" Like, so then I got to like, "Hey, look, I'm just want to make sure that you're learning. I'm not a bad guy. I'm not." But in the industry, they're gonna be asking you stuff like that. So that's the only thing. But yeah, we come along that. So let's walk over here to this other side. That would be our residential side.
Do you really? All right.
Yeah, you could take a
So
look at
usually
it.
here we'll have another instructor on this side, on this lab, and this side over here we would have our residential, this is where we teach some of the students how to braze, how to work with electricity. This was another classroom. At one time, it was going to be a classroom, but since the concept was no classrooms, we decided to make it just an electrical lab. So this is where we teach our students basic electricity. So all this was, like I said, was all set up. These are our basic electricity trainers. This is where we teach our students everything about electricity, the control side of things. So yeah, this is one of the. So this is where what we use for somebody has lectures, and this guy's showing them the switches and what a wire and stuff like that. So we have 3 of these, and we have them located all over, you know. So before students connect, since we don't see my other faculty might be on that side, we need to make sure that the students understand that they don't plug anything in or don't turn anything in. We have already burned a relay. It's the first one, but yeah, it usually happens. But we try to avoid that. But yeah, and then the students, they try to kind of hide it, but you can't hide the odor, right? It's like, hey, what happened? What's up? Oh, I don't know, sir. It's just like, no, you burned something. Yeah,
Now,
sure
out
enough.
there
is working on his installation and startup class, so he's just learning a little bit about ductwork, how to construct some ductwork and stuff like that that goes into residential homes. Any questions? Anything?
Is there something in this facility that's still missing that you would love to have to help, you know, further develop a certain skill or a certain classroom? I know you guys went through renovations, but did you get your dream facility, or is there something still
we
missing?
we got most of what we need. You know, we might need a little bit more of the heat pumps, right? There's another row, a couple of more rows to put more heat pumps, but we only got about 4 or 5. When as we grow more classes, because right now what's happening is not that the advanced classes is only like 5 or 6 students, right? But eventually it's gonna get bigger, right? As they move on to the next level, so like that. But no, I think we got most of what. But yeah, to answer, yeah, if I could get another half a building, that'd be cool. Yeah, so that's always. I don't think that's gonna happen, right? But yeah, but it's good to dream. I'll put it in my dream list. But yeah, no, more space. And I mean, you'll be surprised. I mean, I was in the military. I did 10 years in the Marine Corps, and every 2-3 years I moved, and I was like, where did all this stuff come from? You know, whenever I was getting ready to move. Right? Because at first I lived in the barracks or whatever, and then all of a sudden I just like, I had to pay so much to transfer my stuff. Same thing happened to us here. About half of the stuff that was in this building we had to get rid of. Of course, some of the stuff we weren't using anymore. But it was just amazing, like, where did this stuff come from? You know, because now our building kind of looks full, and it's still missing half of that stuff that we had. You know, a lot of it were tables and old, stuff like that we were using before. So one of the things, talking about something maybe is more bracing to do it here, but we were able to take care of it because now we do bracing outside. So they get to taste a little weather when they're doing bracing at 90 or 100 degrees. We are bracing outside. So we have so we were able to get a canopy, right? And you can already feel that nice weather, right? So now they come out here, and now if they're doing bracing, so now our faculty has to kind of watch out here, and then here they'll be doing some of the bracing where they learn how to brace equipment. And as you see, these units, they're put together with copper lines, so that's what we're teaching them, how to make those connections and stuff. This is an old chiller that was donated by Samsung. It's not operational, but sometimes it's just a show and tell to show students what it is. And our chiller plant, I was telling you, is in that building right there for the whole campus. And then that big round thing is where we put that chilled water to chill the whole campus.
Mr. Cabrera, what was this used for? Like a building or?
Yeah, that's a chiller. It's so this chiller right here. One of these is in that
That
building
big
right
one in
there
front.
when it's operational. Now a smaller version is out here. You come out here to the back. The one we're using for that lab is that small one over there, that gray one. The one that says Aqua.
Blue label?
The one on the other side, yeah. That's a small version of this. That's a 10-ton chiller. This is I think it's a 1,200-ton chiller. So just a little bit bigger.